Hi, Managerial Accounting. In this video, I am going to go over how to complete the high-low method used in accounting. The high-low method is used when you have total costs. So in those total costs, there are fixed and variable, and you're not sure how much is fixed and how much is variable. So the high-low method is used to break out variable and fixed costs. So let me show you my problem that I made up. Now you already have the problem, so I know this looks daunting that I had already written it on the board. I'm going to break it down so that the video is not too long. I want to keep you awake out there. All right, so the high-low method is used to break out the highest activity. Now remember that activity is what we're focusing on. In this particular problem, it's maintenance hours. Be careful with this method. You could actually have a low activity and the cost could be different. So you're always looking at the lowest activity. Focus on that. All right, so this particular problem, the high activity is 25. So I'm going to circle that. And then I'm going to circle the costs associated with that. The lowest activity is January. And we're going to circle that. So I'm focusing on the activity, which is hours, and the total maintenance costs. The other numbers, those are out the window now. We don't care about those. Okay, so when we break this down, we are going to use the highest maintenance costs, which is $8,300. And then we're going to subtract out the lowest maintenance costs, which is $3,300. Okay, that's our numerator. Our denominator is going to be the highest activity. In this case, it's maintenance hours. So the highest activity is going to be 25. The lowest activity is going to be 5. Okay, so we're just going to do out the math. So our numerator is going to be 5,000. Our denominator is going to be 20. You're going to get your calculator. 5,000 divided by 20 is going to be 250. But understand, this 250 is the variable cost per unit. Okay, remember, in this chapter, we need to understand what is per unit or what is total cost. We're going to have different answers, but this is 250 per unit. Okay, next, we're going to break out the fixed costs. I'm going to tell you, you can do this in two ways, okay? I'm going to focus on the highest level first, okay? All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to break this down. We're going to take our total cost at the highest level, okay? So total costs, okay? All right, so I did an A and B. Take the highest hours and multiply by the variable costs per unit. All right, so the highest hours are 25. So watch with me. I'm going to do A right here. So I'm going to take 25 and I'm going to multiply this by my variable cost per unit, 250. So when I take 25 times 250, I'm going to get 6,250. Okay, again, let's make sure we understand this number. I can't stress this enough. This is our variable costs in total. Okay, so this is our A. Our B, watch, our B, I am next going to take and I'm going to focus on the high level. I'm going to tell you, with this method, you could do the low level, you get the same answer, so test that outside. All right, so you're going to take 8,300, so the total mixed cost, remember this is a mixed cost, 8,300. And then I'm going to subtract out my variable cost in total, 6,250. And when I do that, that is going to give me my fixed costs. So 8,300 minus 6,250 gives me 2,050 for my fixed costs. 2,050. So equals fixed cost. Let me write it here too. 2,050 is my fixed cost. Okay, now number 2 is asking you what is the equation for determining total mixed costs for the factory. So the equation is right here. You're going to take your total mixed maintenance cost. Well, you're going to do this last. You're first going to take your variable, so I'm going to rewrite this. You're first going to take your variable cost per unit. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to write 250. And then I'm going to multiply this by the number of activity hours. So the number of activity hours, and I'm going to use the high, was 25. So 250 times 25, remember that's the activities, gives me 6,250. Okay? So variable cost per unit times the number of maintenance hours gives me 6,250. You all know this is my total variable cost. And then I'm just going to add in my fixed costs. So my fixed costs are 2,050. So I'm going to take 6,250 plus 2,050. And that gives me my total maintenance costs of 8,300. Okay, so just another way to write this equation. All right, now, in this problem, I state that Clay Company is predicting using 19 maintenance hours in July. So we're kind of estimating July. So how are we going to do that? All right, so here it is right here. If Clay Company predicts using 19 hours in July, estimate the factory's total maintenance bill by using number 2. All right, so we're going to take the variable cost per unit, which I just already did. I'm going to do it again for you. 250. However, I'm going to change this. Now I'm saying it's 19 hours. So we're going to take 250 times 19. Remember, this is just an estimate. We're just kind of predicting. And then we're estimating that the total variable costs in number 3 are going to be 4,750. Remember, fixed costs are fixed. That's not going to change. The only piece that's changing is my variable costs. So now I'm going to add in my fixed costs of 2,050. And my total mixed costs in July for this particular problem would equal 6,800. Okay? So that's how you do the high-low method used in managerial accounting. One more time, you're just trying to predict. You don't know of this total. You don't know how much is fixed. You don't know how much is variable. You're just going to break it out. You're going to use the high. You're going to use the low. Okay? Get into the lab, do that homework, and then you'll be good. See you soon.